Last time we got the front subframe put on, but now let's start filling in this area. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. Like I said, we got the front subframe on last video. This video, let's go ahead and toss on some components. We got the control arms right here. We had these Cerakoted in burnt bronze. Looks super, super good. This will match the rest of the components we have in the rear. We did the subframe, all that kind of stuff in this burnt bronze as well. I am a little bit bummed out about this. Whenever I took this to get these ball joints and this bushing pushed in, they really effed up the the side of it right here. But that is, I'll take that, because last time I took these are brand new suspension arms. So I took these things to a reputable guy, supposedly, who'd been doing this for years. And so I took him over there and I'm like, hey, listen, these are aluminum, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll get those things out of there, no problem. And then he couldn't get them out, and so he decided to use heat on aluminum suspension arms and blew a hole entirely through the old suspension arms. So I did it on both of them, not just this one. He did it on this one and was like, huh, that didn't work out. Let me try it on the other one. So he ruined both suspension arms. So we had to order 2 brand new ones. That whole process, it was a mess, but we're moving on from that. It's over now. We got the new ones. They're Cerakoted. They're a little bit scratched up, but if it bothers me enough, which it's on the verge, if it bothers me enough, I do have some burnt bronze, and I think I can touch that up with my airbrush. And so if it bothers me enough, we'll touch it up. But for right now, I'm just happy to say that the ball joints and the bushings, the bigger ones, are in there. They're on the things, and they're Cerakoted. So let's go ahead and get the other bushings put in. These guys here are just push-ins, so it shouldn't be all that hard. And so we'll get these pushed in, and then we'll pop on these suspension arms. Okay, so we got 2 sides split in the middle. You just push them in, and it should slide right into place. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's in there, and now we'll grab our bushing lubricant and we'll put that around the shaft itself that runs through this bushing, and then we'll do the outside edges, and this thing will be ready to pop on. We'll stick our finger in there, lube all that up. Never can have too much lube, you know. Now that pushed out a lot of the grease on the backside here, so we'll just run that around the edges of the bushing, and there you have it. Bushing is installed. I'll do this to the other one, and then these things should be good to pop on. All right, so we got to take off, I put on the bigger bolt that runs through the big bushing side of the control arm, just to put it in there and have some support added to the subframe here. So we'll take that back out. I'm crossing my fingers that this suspension place that I took the control arms to, put them in there right, those big bushings, because they had to go in at a certain like angle and stuff, it said in the instructions. And so I let them know that, and I was like, if you have questions, please contact Whiteline and all that, like to make sure that they go in properly. So we will see. In we go. All right, like that. It looks like it lines up pretty good, so just cross our fingers that thing worked out. It's already scratched up enough. I don't need to be adding to it, right? All right, bolt through the hole, through the other hole at the top, please. Ha ha. Really coming down with the rain today. I don't know if you guys can hear that outside, but she's been pouring all day. All right, now we can move on to putting our freshly powder coated brand new brackets on right here with our titanium hardware. I did titanium on this section right here because whenever I took the car apart, these bolts right here were super rusted on there. Corrosion, all that kind of stuff. And so I figured I'm going to keep the car pretty dang clean, but you know, I'd rather keep the corrosion down where I can and all that kind of stuff. And so I figured titanium would be a good option to put right here. So lock it kind of in place, just do hand tight. And then we got the Whiteline end links that came with our sway bar here. And of course, identical thing on this side. I need a jack stand. I think I'm gonna start putting jack stands. I got a couple extras. I'm gonna put some jack stands under these arms so they're not like dangling on the new bushings. So let me grab one of those real fast. Ta-da! Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, I believe, and toss on the axles. We went ahead, these have been sitting around for quite a while, but we did some drive shaft shop front axles. We did a different axle in the rear. I think we did, those were Insane Shafts axles. Instructions, I assume, warranty info, stickies, ta-da, brand new axle. I think it might be wise to first put on the coilovers. We are running the Fortune Auto 500 series coilovers. These are new also. They've only got like maybe 500 miles on them. That's about how much I drove the car before I started tearing this thing down. But they've been sitting around in the garage for quite a while, so we're gonna give them a quick clean. Okay, so I'm going to run this thing right through here. Okay, we got the other side on. Now we're on the transmission side. I'm gonna put some WD-40 on my rag, and I've already sprayed it like inside here on the axle to clean it out a little bit in case there's anything in there to get it clean. And then we'll take this and wipe it around the shaft that's on the transmission. Make sure that's all good to go. Slide it in. This side's a little bit easier for me to show you guys what we're doing here. Okay, that slid on there. We are replacing these nuts with titanium, but this is rubber anyway, so. And there we go, axle is on. So, axles are on. What? Moving on, it is finally time. I have had these things powder coated for a very, very long time, but we got fresh hubs. I continue to call these Spindles hubs, so anytime I have these in my hand or I'm working on these and I call it a hub, I mean spindle. Going on, look at that. These things look awesome. This one is going on the passenger side, and we should be able to just run the axle right through it. I'm pretty sure we can mount the hubs to it after it's already on the cars. I am pretty sure that I already set the preload to these things. I can't remember, but just in case, I'm gonna measure and make sure we're setting the preload properly. So to set your preload per Fortune Auto, most springs, do your own research and whatever, but most applications it says have a 6 or 7 inch spring. And so you measure the spring while it's untensioned, and this one is a 7 inch spring. So the preload is a 1/4 inch. So this one, after we set the preload, the total length of the spring will be 6 3/4. So when you're looking here on our spring, we have it from the very tippy top of the spring to the very focus bottom of the spring. We are at 6 3/4. So our preload is set. So now we can take this thing and pop it up into place, right like that. Pop on our nuts, and then we will be able to mount our hub to everything right here. This feels so weird seeing suspension on this thing. What the heck? Had I known that I was gonna be doing this big of a project on this thing, whenever I got these coilovers, I would have probably waited to install them, because now they've got they're all scratched up and they got some rust left over. I gotta clean that from the old hubs and all that kind of stuff. They're still brand new, so it's fine. Had I known, I would have definitely waited to put these coilovers on. I'd have just rode those shitty ones I had on there. We had Cusco coilovers on this thing for however old the car is. It was on there for quite a while. They were super rusty, they were leaking. Just a bunch of stuff was wrong with them. So it definitely needed the suspension, but take off this nut. Whoopsies, it's in there somewhere. We'll run this through the hub here. We'll set this on top of the ball joint. If we can just get that to go down in there. Down onto, come on, bro. Did they get powder coat in this thing? It looks like they did right at the beginning here. That's unfortunate. Am I gonna regret putting on the axles right now? Maybe. Maybe I should have put this stuff on first. We'll see. Okay, so I went ahead and got that thing on there, got the coilover back on there, tie rods in, all that kind of stuff. I did have to take my Dremel and Dremel out that part where it goes onto this ball joint right here. I'll show you guys on the other side, but we did have to Dremel that out, but after that, it slid right on, no issue whatsoever. It's funny how that works when there's no powder coat in the way, huh? This one actually has more powder coat in it than the other one did, so we're taking this Dremel right here, sticking it in there and just grinding it out. Okay, that should do it on this thing. much shinier in there. All the powder coat is gone that I can get out of it. And then call me crazy, but pretty sure I'm gonna have to Dremel out or like grind out all this powder coat inside here where the hub goes too. But we'll see. Now, there is a notch. Let me see if I can find it here. Camera, there you go. Can you see that little notch right there? That needs to be facing the back of or towards the car, towards the engine, because there's a bolt that runs through that hub, and that thing has to be on the back of it so it'll slide through. This is what kind of blocks it or locks it. So if you're having trouble getting the bolt through, check your ball joint because that little notch might be not lined up properly. But ours is already facing back that way, so we should be able to just pop this hub on here, so let's give it a shot. I say that, and you guys know exactly what happens every time I say that. It's always way worse than what it needs to be. We're gonna give her just a little drop. We don't want it going all over the place, you know what I mean? And then we'll just rub it all around this thing. So let's pop this thing on, shall we? Slid right on. I did hit it with the Dremel one more quick time. It needs to go down a little bit more because that little notch, I can see just the top of it. So we're not lined up with the bolt hole just yet on the notch, but we'll get there. Bolt is through, we are set. Okay, it's been a couple days. We went ahead and got the coilover on the driver's side, and a bunch of hardware showed up to be able to put some new bolts and stuff in this whole compartment right here. But also, I know you guys didn't actually think we were gonna leave these zinc plated or gold bolts on these coilovers here. You know we gotta get our classic signature quote unquote blurple hardware on here. These things look so good all over the engine bay, and we just could not leave out the top of the coilover here. That looks fantastic. All right, we got a not so big box, but it's got a ton of hardware in here. We got nuts, bolts, everything for the front here. We'll go through, get these things organized and laid out. Ooh, that's our shifter thing for our short shifter. Nice. I didn't think that was coming in this shipment. Anyway, okay, went through 00284 goes on the top. This is our kind of like alignment bolt, I guess you could say. And then this one goes on the bottom, 140067. And then this guy, 140081, goes back here on this part on the subframe. Had to remove the tie rod and loosen up the sway bar bolts there to get the control arm to move a little bit so I could get it in there. I have wrestled with this control arm for 30 minutes, and I cannot get it to line up enough to get this bolt through the front part of this control arm into the subframe. Cannot get it to line up. I don't know what, the other side went right in, no problem. I'm gonna walk away for a little bit. I'm gonna charge my light because it's dead. Yay, battery powered stuff. Yeah, get a clean head and try it again. Jesus, okay. Finally got it in there. Both bolts are in the front and the rear of the control arm. Oh man, that was a pain in the ass. I did not expect all brand new stuff to be this difficult to install. But you know what? Sometimes that's just how it goes. So I'm gonna run through, put everything back on now because I took literally everything off. Let's just put everything back together and we'll get to where we were an hour ago. All right, back to where we were. This needs to get picked up. Yeah. And then in we go, just like such. We got bolts over here. Bolt, or nut, I should say. I always mix them up. If I ever say bolt and I have a nut in my hand, I meant nut. I always just say bolt just for some reason. It's like my go-to default phrase, bolt. Woo, all right. I can now remove all this shit because it's all tied together. Everything's hanging how it should be. Great day in the morning. That was a lot. So now I have my little laptop here that has my little spec sheets on it, and the only one that has an asterisk that needs to be tightened after the fact, after the car has weight on it, is this front bolt that we had all the issues with. This one needs to be tightened last once the car is setting on the ground or setting on our little blocks that we have. But the rest of these can go tight. So we're gonna tighten up this ball joint bolt back here. That one goes to 80 plus or minus 7 foot-pounds. And then this one back here, damn, that goes to 123 plus or minus 7. Oh boy, that's a lot. Damn, where are you, 80? That feels so much. I have to be there, right? Holy crap. I feel like we're just, we're on the verge of like breaking something. That feels crazy. Damn, where are we at, 80? Oops. That got super loose. I feel like we're stripping the bolt now. This thing is no longer getting tight. Motherfucker. I knew it, like that. It just felt like so much torque. Like it felt ridiculous that it was even going that far. Let me take this bolt out of here and we'll see how the threads look, but I got a feeling they're gonna look mangled. 80 foot-pounds, that's what it says right there on the freaking screen. I mean, I don't even wanna put the, the 138 plus or minus 7 on the subframe back there. If we just blew out a bolt going to 80, man. I will cut back whenever I get this thing off of here, if I get it off of here. All right, an hour later, we got the nut cut off of there. I can't really tell because I had to grind off the threads on the end of it there, but right in the middle there, you can tell where I was kind of cutting through it. The threads just got, they just got demolished, and I don't know what or why. I had my torque wrench set to 80 foot-pounds. I don't know why. Maybe it was the, maybe I shouldn't put on the anti-seize. I don't know, but either way, that's off of there now. Got to order a new nut and a bolt, obviously. So let's try to put this thing back on and then see what else we can get into. You know, I guess you live and you learn. I went and did some research a little bit online. And you know, I figured that the anti-seize would affect something to do with the torque, but I didn't think it would be that much. So I went around online, I was looking around and looked at like anti-seize on high torque spec bolts. People have been reducing their torque values by like 25 to 40% when using anti-seize on bolts. I had no idea about that at all, really. So perhaps I'm gonna go back through probably and wipe off all this anti-seize off these bolts. We'll clean them with some brake cleaner or whatever, and just put them on there dry so I can use the torque value. I'm gonna keep the car pretty dang clean, as I've said several times, and so I don't think rust and things like that will be an issue anymore. So yeah, I think we'll be okay if I just do that. But yeah, we'll learn from that and carry on. If you guys know of anything else, or if that is wrong and I'm looking at the wrong data or whatever, let me know in the comments down below. I will appreciate it. Which, you know what, that's kind of fine for me because I really hate using anti-seize. It gets all over everything. And so, yeah, works better for me anyway, I guess. While the passenger side has been a bit of a kerfuffle in many different ways, this side has went together super well. So check that out. I went ahead and took off the spindle again just because why not? I mean, we're already there, so might as well do it. Got that off of there. We're gonna go ahead and pop on these hubs and look at these brand new OEM fanciness. Hopefully I don't have to grind these spindles. I really, really hope not. There is some powder coat in there, but I'm gonna cross my fingers that this will just go. Oh, come on. You know you wanna push in there. You know you do. Okay, finally got this thing on there with a few hits of some 120 sandpaper. We got it sanded down. So this thing's on there now. Went ahead and plugged in the ABS sensor and all that. Got to run all that wire. Well, all that wire just goes up to here and plugs in, but running all that, tightening that little nut down or bolt down, and then we can move on to the other side. Oh, okay, so everything on this side went together pretty simply. This hub slid right in there, no issues with that whatsoever. We had to drill out the ABS sensor a little bit on the spindle itself, but not too bad. And yeah, got the hub on there, got the sweet titanium axle nut on there, got the brake dust shield. All we really got to do is do brake rotors, calipers, and then the wheel can go on. What an ordeal. Despite some things taking much, much longer than I thought it was going to, we actually made quite a bit of progress. I had these spindles off and on the car probably 7 or 8 times in this whole process, but we got everything cleaned off of all of the anti-seize. We got all that stuff off of there. We brake cleaned the crap out of it, wiped it all down, put it all back together. I gotta order that nut and bolt for the ball joint on the other side, but that'll be easy to pop on. And then, yeah, we are moving right along. I'm not sure what is next. I know I gotta finish up some wiring up front right there. And then there's some other buttoning up projects we have to do. And then we are moving right along. So thanks for watching. I do appreciate it very much as always. always, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about everything we got on here. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.